looking for those inflection points to give us an opportunity to um, take 2 to 3 points on our trades, and that is dependent on volatility. Right now, with the way the volatility is, we're looking 2 to 3 points. Sounds like a good target for a profit and also for our uh, stops, as the markets have really sucked out a lot of this um, activity here or volatility because of the good news that's coming out from these vaccines. Unfortunately, it's counteracted by the fact that we are getting, in the United States anyway, huge numbers of negative news as far as the restrictions on some of these states that are coming through. Illinois is one of them. So that's where we live. I live, and it's happening in other states as well. So that's going to be taking away from some of the and positiveness. But the market's not going down. Consequently, the vaccine news is keeping the market very steady. But it doesn't take away from the issues with with the COVID. I was going to say disease. I guess it is a disease that's out there and affecting not only, it's affecting everybody. The second wave that's coming upon us, and it's really nasty. And there are some huge numbers. I mean, just awful numbers coming out of everywhere. Our pivot this morning is 3610, 3610, resistance above at 17, 24, 30, and 37. Support below at 03, 96, 86, and 79. So the news on Monday has come out, and as you can see, we've been basically staying in this very tight range here since, and not really expanding it one way or the other. And so we have to be patient with it. We trade according to the volatility. Obviously, when there's more volatility out there, to give us more opportunity. But doesn't mean that we, just because there's a lack of volatility, we don't have opportunity. We just have to wait for it and be patient. The most important thing that we have as traders is, well, the most important thing we have to learn as a trader is to be disciplined, especially if you're trading electronically here and not screaming and yelling in the pit. Those are totally different concept when we were trading, when I was trading in the pit versus the opportunities that you have here. You can say no to a trade or adjust your trade on the screen, or be patient and wait for it. Stay away from the chop that occurs at a no trade zone, like I like to call it, when it's not doing anything and not moving around and kind of just flipping it around through a maybe 5, 10, 15, 10 point range and really not going anywhere. And it's been doing that a lot lately. So patience is important. Waiting for the opportunities to present themselves, very important. And you have to, just be aware and understand that until the volatility comes back in the market, and this is what we have. So usually we like to have maybe 4 or 5 trades in the course of a day. Depending on volatility, we when we were going a little bit, when the volatility was up there a couple of weeks ago, and especially back in March, we were getting 10 trades easily in a day. So, and now of course your stops were increased. I mean, we had to increase our stops. So, instead of 2 to 3 points that we're doing now, we're looking more at 10 points back then. And when volatility increases, so do our stops and profit targets as well. So, but for a time being, like I said, this is where we're at, and we have to accept it and try to do the best with what we have. And that requires some discipline on our part, and we have to be patient and wait for the opportunities to present themselves. So, saying that, support is down at 03 here as we're slowly trickling down, but those 5-minute bars are really tight, and then more importantly, those hourly bars are even tighter. So consequently, patience is important, and we have to wait for the opportunities there. So, all right. So again, welcome to some of the new folks that are in here. We are scalping the market, or we're looking to take right at this moment in time 2-3 points off of our trades with those kind of stops as well. We like to scale into a position because we are not going to be perfect as far as our entry points or our levels. Sometimes we're off by a little bit. Like when I say 03, we might go down to 3.5 or 4, and it's all dependent on how you scale, and that is dependent on obviously your risk tolerance. If you're just a 1 lot trader, a 2 lot trader, or more, we work with everybody to try to know what's the optimal amount that you should be trading, and also try to maximize your profits with your entry points as well as your scaling out of the positions if we come into a nice little opportunity, which means we sell a high or buy a low, and then we can try to scale out of them as best we can. Sometimes the 2 to 3 points that we're looking for becomes 4 or 5, and so on. So that happened, I think, yesterday, where we were able to take a little bit more out of the low down there at one of our levels, and we were able to maybe hold on to it a little bit and get a little bit more than just 2 or 3 points out of it. It happens. That doesn't happen often, but it happens. So again, that's all dependent on you able to trade multiple contracts and be able to um, scale out of it. But we talk about that in our education course as well. We talk about levels, how we get them, show you how to get them. The objective of the course here is to make sure that you find these opportunities on your own, try to recognize these trades, and then the second part of the course, and the second part of any individual trader, is to be able to execute those trades, and we show you how to get into them, stay with it, try to stay with it, and how to get out of it. And everything is dependent on volatility. I mean, there's no right or wrong way sometimes to get into a trade and get out of it. Everybody's different, and also adjusting to a level. Sometimes we have to adjust to what the market is doing, the price action, and so we have to adjust sometimes, and our goals sometimes change. Sometimes we're being a little bit more forward looking and looking for are being bullish, and then sometimes we're on the flip side looking to be staying on the short side. But that's all, again, dependent on the price action, how the market trades at that particular moment in time, what it's doing, and in our case, what it's not doing, and trading what the market gives us. Sometimes it gives us a lot, sometimes it doesn't give us so much, but whatever it is, we have to be patient and wait for the opportunities. So obviously, for me to talk all the time, it gets a little bit tough. I don't, especially when the market's not doing anything, I'd rather be talking about our trades. But our first level on the downside is 03, and we seem to just be gravitating back here to the pivot. So, it's kind of, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. No, we like questions, so that you can get a good understanding of how we do things around here. Again, we opened up the room here because I was trading up in my office and I was a little bit bored, and so got to with some good traders, and we got to open up this room here so that we can interact with each other and converse with one another and kind of keep the day going while things are slow. And then when things get moving around, you just need somebody kind of just to give you a different perspective when things are whipping around sometimes that maybe you wouldn't notice or you wouldn't see. And that's why we have this kind of trading room to help with those ideas. And besides that, I was really bored up in my office and needed some. Cause I mean, you come from the floor and then you go up to the office and there's like silence, except maybe for the TV that's on in the background. And even then, you know, silence. So it's tough. It's tough. Definitely tough. But, so this is kind of cuts into the day a little bit. So things happen a little bit just to keep us entertained. We focus more on the morning hours. We believe that we get good opportunities in the morning hours. There's good ebbs and flows. The market trades well. I think there's more traders participating in the morning than the afternoon. The afternoon trade gets a little bit sticky, gets more one way. There's less traders, less volatility. Obviously, it's all determined by also if there's some news or fundamental opportunities that might be out there that can contribute to the volatility. But I've learned over the years that there's more. Our levels work well, and our levels work well kind of all day. But the price action opportunities occur better for us during the morning hours trades. And so for first 2 or 2.5, 3 hours in there, depending on how busy we are and what's happening. As you can tell right now, not much is happening, but it's okay. It's okay. It'll snap out of it at some point. Somebody will say something stupid or do something dumb, and we'll get some action. And that's just how it seems to work. And it doesn't only have to be here in the United States. It could be somebody from someplace else creating something, doing something, and giving us opportunity to trade, which is what futures are all about. It's the markets are out there to hedge risk, and there are hedgers out there. We are just traders. We're just scalping them. We're not trying to hedge them. We're going to take the opportunity to make a little bit of money from the ebbs and flows, the ups and the downs that occur during any day. Sometimes more ups and downs than others. So, again, have any questions? Write them down. In the chat box area, I can see it's quicker, so that'll help as we float back up here. Again, this is the no trade zone. It's very, very quiet. Let's see. 9 o'clock. There is a Fed speak. Whole bunch of Fed speaks yesterday, right? And I told you, and it was kind of a little bit choppy in the afternoon. We rallied, hit a low, rallied back up, quasi high, came back down. It was just one of those like choppy, doing nothing kind of days in a bigger range. That's all. But they are freewheeling and talking. Their meeting was last week, and they are just out yakking away. As far as any fundamental reports, there is nothing coming out at 9 o'clock here. Fed speak at 9. Fed speak at 11:15. We have a 20-year bond auction at 12 that kind of maybe will affect financials. Another Fed speak at 12:30, and then a couple more in the evening tonight. So, but these guys are, I guess, need some Christmas money, and they are out there chit-chatting away as we kind of trading on our other side of our pivot here. The 17 areas that we have is some resistance. So nothing as far as any fundamental news is concerned that's affect us. Let's see here if we can see Boeing, it's the day Boeing has been waiting for nearly 2 years after investigation, corporate upheaval, and a standoff with global regulators. FAA administrator is expected to sign an order today lifting the flight ban of the 737 MAX. Once Boeing's hottest selling jet, as well as the airworthiness directive requiring new pilot training and software upgrades. A stall prevention system called MCAS was faulted in the 737 MAX crashes in Indonesia and uh, Ethiopia that killed 347 people in 18 and 19, triggered a crisis that cost Boeing some $20 billion and tarnished its reputation. Resuming delivery will open up a crucial pipeline of cash for Boeing and hundreds of parts of suppliers whose finances were strained because of the ban. So all of this does affect S&P somewhat. Somewhat. All right. We slowly coming up here now. Again, little resistance at the 17. Again, all we're trying to do is find areas of inflection. For those of you who are a little bit more aggressive and have taken our course, you could have maybe bought the 6-7 area there on dip down if you were a little aggressive for a reason. And speaking of which, we have multiple reasons to trade. We try to give you multiple reasons to trade, and we want you to have multiple reasons to trade. We want you to feel confident in placing an order, waiting for it, and waiting for the opportunity. And if you understand why the market is maybe going to go to a level and maybe bounce off and give us an opportunity to trade, it gives you greater confidence in putting on to trade. Just say, what'd you do? Just wake up and just have to just pipe in here with some silly comment like that? Are you really a Lakers fan? No, but somebody sent me a Lakers shirt because of their quasi championship season this year. And, this is how they win championships on an asterisk after the championship in 2020. So anybody that, wears or proudly wears a Lakers championship shirt should really think about it a little bit. But hey, I appreciated whoever sent me that Lakers championship shirt. I'm sure I'll wear it proudly one time so that I don't get questioned outside of my house, and then I can say I wore it. But thank you anyway. All right. I've got like 6 or 7 of those shirts when the Bulls won the championships, back in the 90s. Yeah, I have 6 or 7 of those kind of, maybe, I bought a couple of them, so maybe I have 12 of them, So I'll add that one championship shirt to my collection of Bulls championship shirts. But hey, thanks anyway. All right. So we're just range bound here. We have been for a while, as you can see, ever since Monday. Even on Monday, we opened up a lot higher. We closed the gap yesterday. Closed the gap yesterday. It was a nice little gap fill right there. We had that. We had the 80 level above it, but it did close the gap. So that was a nice gap fill, and this came right back into the middle of the range for Monday. And now we're just kind of floating back and forth. The role of the FAA went under a microscope during the Boeing investigation. And the House just unanimously passed a bill to reform how the FAA certifies airplanes. A Senate panel has taken up a similar bill today. The U.S. plane makers won't be allowed to sign off on worthiness of some 450 already built 737 Maxes, meaning in-person individual inspections could take a year or more to complete. Anticipating FAA approval, American Airlines plans to relaunch commercial MAX flights on December 29th, while Southwest, the world's largest MAX operator, does not plan to fly the aircraft until the second quarter of 2021. So that's nice. Bitcoin is getting a real kick in the butt these days. It's up to $18,000 after hanging around 10 forever. So that's kind of nice, I guess. If you're a Bitcoin trader, which we don't like to trade. Again, that's if you think bonds are one way. Well, bonds are one way. Uh, Bitcoin is also kind of the same. So we like to trade commodities that actually give us opportunity to make money, that have good ebbs and flows. Obviously, we feel that S&Ps do that for us. Bond market, unfortunately, has become more of a one-way trade. No, not too many ebbs and flows. And look, I used to trade bonds for a long time and trade in the bond pit, and that's why I have them up there. But I also do believe that bonds do help us sometimes with we'll try to pinpoint where equities might be going or might not. So we do come back here to our pivots. So we are just going nowhere fast, as they say in French. Is that French? Maybe not French. Nothing against France. I don't know French. Anyway, that's what happens when you start talking to yourself. Senate Republicans have failed to secure enough votes to advance the confirmation of Judy Shelton to the Fed, as the upper chamber voted 50-47 against the move that would have advanced the nomination by limiting debate. She is a controversial pick given her long history of unorthodox economic commentary by questioning the basic role of the Fed and advocating a return to the gold standard. So that makes sense. You have some woman or some economist, let's give her that, who doesn't think the Fed should be around, and she gets nominated to go to the Fed. So this is where we're at. She doesn't think unorthodox economic commentary, like questioning the basic role of the Fed. And you know what? Let's put her on the Fed. This is where we've gotten right now in this world. So she totally doesn't like the underpinnings of what the Fed does. So let's nominate her. I think that's a really great idea. I just think that is like got to be so smart out there for whoever does these, whoever's like thinking out there. This is the way to go. While the GOP was left short of votes needed to due to the senators that ended quarantine, like Mitch McConnell, switched his vote to no in a tactical decision that would allow him to bring the nomination up for reconsideration. Not much time remains, however, as the Republicans will lose a seat in the Senate when Arizona's Democratic Mark Kelly takes Martha McSally's place after Thanksgiving. All right. So yeah, that's where we're at. This is how effed up our Congress has been lately. Do I have any other commodities that financial instruments to trade? Let's go to commodities. How's that? I mean, you can trade financials. I mean, you got the bond market. Equities are a little bit different. I mean, look, I don't like to trade. I don't like to trade the euro, and I know saw earlier there's a euro trader here, only because euros and all the currencies get influenced by governments. just like the bond market is. And so I don't think that that's a good trade either. I mean, if you can guess which way the government's going to do something, then you can be on the right side of it. But there's other markets. The oil market, I think, gives you opportunity to trade. Um, it does move around, so that's I guess a good place to go. It's a little bit too volatile for me, but it's not the worst place to trade. If that you can kind of maybe use some of our concepts there. Um, but I mean, you also have to understand something. If you start trading multiple markets, you need to know what kind of moves those markets. Like we know that there's fundamental news that's affect S&Ps, because we know that there's news that comes out at 7:30 that'll affect us before the market opens, and then at 8:30 we open up, and then usually there's some news that comes out if there's going to be another batch of news that comes out at 9 o'clock. So at least you know when, like if you're trading grains also are probably a good market to trade if you're looking to expand. But again, there are different days when they come out with their grain reports, and you have to know what days those are. And if you're not, if you don't know when they're supposed to be released, you get yourself in a little bit of a quandary sometimes, and get yourself caught up in the wrong situation and have a position on when you shouldn't. So you need to know when, you know, uh, you need to know the things that move your market. So I mean, I think that you stick to. I mean, it could be a wrong concept for me, for us, because that's all I do here is look at the S&Ps. But I also believe you have to know and feel confident in the market that you're trading. You have to know what moves it. At least we have some idea. We can put some logical reason sometimes to what the markets is doing. Obviously, all markets get irrational at any given point. So doesn't mean we can always put a good face on it. Yeah, but at least we can try to explain what's going on here every now and then. And so, but no, grain market trades well, oil market trades well. I would stay away from my own currencies and euros, but that's my own thing. I mean, you don't have. I mean, you can see if it works there. I just don't. I just don't know what moves those markets. I know what moves the currencies. The banks move currencies. So, you know, but and they can have, Goldman is a bank. Just remember that. So we'll see. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. So we slowly trickling down here. Get a little support there at the 03. Kind of a little quiet. So, okay, so we'll see what happens here with the Fed as they have to have a seat open, I guess, and see what they want to do there. Congress ought to be to put a warning label. Again, we have support here at 03, maybe. A warning label on big tech yesterday as lawmakers grilled Twitter and Facebook. Republicans' concerns centered around how the platform moderated their content, narrowing in on censorship and the ideological makeup of their workforce, while Democrats focused on whether more modernization could help prevent the spread of hate speech and violence. What the two sides appear to agree on is that Facebook and Twitter have enforced their policies inconsistently and often do not explain the steps they have taken. The two tech leaders agreed that reform around how content is monitored should be revisited, with Zuckerberg welcoming a new regulatory modernization framework and Dorsey hoping to give users more tools to control the content they see. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, that's good, chat. Yeah, you can. Like I said, my belief here is that we stick to something instead of trying to go out there and do something crazy. And but again, like today, last couple of days we haven't had too many opportunities, but it's okay. Like I said, we got to take the good with the bad and be patient and wait for the opportunities. Oh, Mark, what a surprise to you would. If you did scale in uh, a little bit there, maybe scaled in at 04 against our 03, then you were able to take a little bit off of this trade here. Again, remember we talked about scaling in, how you scale in, a point above and below, half a point above and below. It's all part of the uh, your your risk tolerance and what how you are trading. And obviously we get down to 04 there, and somebody said they bought the 04, so nice little trade there. If you did jump in against the 03, now it goes a little bit more tenuous, and the blue band, green band also was down at the 05. So there was a couple of reasons to that area was doable. Nice trade there, Mark. Obviously, he had the order in place, and the market went down there and traded that level, and he was able to get filled, even though that was the low. You could not have, he could not have gotten that trade if it wasn't for the fact that he had the the order already placed in the order book, and he had it placed in the order book because he likes to scale in a point above and below, and he got filled very nicely. Was there a quick drop price from 10? Oh, it was one bar. Okay, the last 10 minutes ago. No, so that bar did go from 11 down to 4, it didn't go down to 3. So the bar went from about 11 and change all the way down to 4 area. The 2 bars are good. This is, yeah, 2 bars ago. Risky, the 3 is risky. Yes, the 3 is a little bit more risky now. Maybe you take the lower end if you're going to take the trade at all. But if obviously make an adjustment now, some of our traders will make an adjustment on the entry point there. Others will cancel. This is why you are a trader. You have to make determinations on how you're going to get in and out of trades and what the adjustments you have to make in regarding your entry points given the price action. And this is a perfect example. Some of us will not take the 03 because it's a little bit too risky now. Some of us might adjust down to maybe 2.5 or 2. And others will just wait until we get down to 96 on the support level. Again, everybody's a little bit different. So, and somebody already bought the fours. So um, that's why, when somebody asks me about what's your track record, I can't, you know, I know some of you bought the fours. I know some of you didn't buy the fours against the three. Now you have to make an adjustment. Some will make an adjustment, some won't. The point of the education course is to be able to give you the tools to be able to make these decisions on your own and to adapt it to your risk tolerance. That's what we're trying to do here. And hopefully that kind of works a little bit for us. Interesting move in the yield curve today as the 10 years are kind of flat and the bonds are up a little bit. So yield on the bond is 30 years down a little, and the yield on the 10 is up a little. It's a little spread on the yield curve there. First time I've seen that in a while. As we mosey on up here to our pivot. So if you did buy the 04s, this is a good place to get out. If you were able to hold on to it, you really never took any heat on that, by the way. So nice little trade there, Mark. Oh, me, I'm the closet Laker fan. All right. I don't even know if I am in the closet. I'm, I'm out and about. I'm out of the closet as far as my fanhood is concerned. The FDA has issued an emergency use authorization to single-use COVID-19 diagnostic test kit from Lucira Health, a privately held manufacturer based in California. The test, prescription use only, allows users age 14 and older to swab themselves to collect nasal sample, which is then swirled in a vial of laboratory solution that plugs into a portable device. Results are displayed in 30 minutes as the lights labeled positive or negative. While the FDA did not reveal the price of the test, the company's website said it intends this to cost less than $50 for a in-home COVID-19 test in 30 minutes. You probably need to get a couple of them because I'm sure there's false positive, and then if you have one positive, one negative, you have to get a third one. So you definitely should not just go buy one. I would assume. I mean, what do I know? They don't tell you what the false positive rate is. But hey, $50, it's doable. I heard that the airline has one that if you wanted to take a test, you could take a test, but they'll charge you $250 for it. So instead of them giving it to you for free to make sure the plane's safe, they'll say, okay, if you want to go on a plane and you don't have it, but maybe somebody else does, oh, whatever. Sounds like a politician. It's backwards. Okay. All right, we're just coming back up here to our pivots and to our blue band as well. So a little resistance up here if you're going to maybe scalp it. Like I said, you want to take some profits up there around the 10. If you did buy the 04, it'd be a nice little trade. If you're going to scalp the pivot here and the blue band, maybe you're doing that. Again, just take whatever market gives you. It's kind of slow. There you go. There you go. There's a nice little trade there against our pivot as well. On our first rotation back off it off of level. So nice little price action opportunity there if you are so inclined. We also had another price action opportunity earlier with the buy of the 6-7 area, and then a pop back up, and then now back here, sell of the pivot. Again, sometimes you do it and sometimes you don't. That's why I don't. This is for our people who took our course that we talk about different price action opportunities, and that was one of them. I'll say most of the things out loud. Obviously, the levels are out there for everybody. Some of the price action opportunities, again, sometimes some of our traders will recognize something that I don't even recognize, but this one was easy. They'll let me know about it afterwards. And, but the goal of the course is to show you multiple reasons to trade with many different ideas, concepts, and you have to find the ones that make you comfortable, that you can recognize, and then execute. So we have the recognition of the trade is one aspect, and then the execution of the trade is the second aspect of trading. And both of those require a little bit of work, and that's the recognition of the trade. Like I said, we show you a lot of trades, and we like to show you a lot of trades, and it all depends on how much your risk tolerance is, or your risk tolerance, each individual risk tolerances, so that you could make that determination on your own whether you should get into the trade or not. But I work with you on finding the ones that you can recognize easily, and if it fits into your portfolio, then that's what we would do. And it's a little bit easier to find out these little trades when it's slow like this, you know. Obviously, when things are moving around, so that's why I'm your backstop. Right now, I'm just talking. I wish I wasn't talking so much. I was trading more, but hey, it happens. I mean, I do have trades, even though I'm not. I am talking. Let's not get. Let's not think I don't. Okay, that's not. Sometimes you don't even know when I have a trade, huh? But it's okay. All right. So Unilever is attempting to expand its annual sales of the plant-based meat and dairy alternatives to 1 billion euros by 2027, marking a five-fold increase to what the company expects to sell this year. Sales would be driven by new products from the Vegetarian Butcher, a Dutch brand it acquired in 2018, as well as vegan and dairy-free versions of its ice cream and mayo ranges from Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's. Dairy-free ice cream from Ben and Jerry's. I think they have that already. Mayo from Hellman's, Magnum and Walls. That's ice cream, I think. And if multinations continue to push into this area, industrial experts think plant-based products would get cheaper and the market would consolidate. Last month, the European Parliament also ruled that meatless products can continue to label themselves sausage, steak, or burgers, rejecting the meat lobby proposal that called the terms cultural hijacking. Oh, that's funny. Cultural hijacking. That's hilarious, actually. That is very funny. I guess they have to protect themselves a little bit, coming up with new terms. We've had plenty of new terms in 2020. Social distancing. That's a new one. That's a good one. I wish we didn't have, but we do. So let's add cultural hijacking as another one. We had some good ones yesterday that I was talking about. I just can't remember what they were because it's not really. But anyway, yeah, there's plenty good things out there. 2020 has created a lot of new terms. Some good, some bad. All right, we're just kind of hanging around our pivot here, kind of in the no trade zone still, but we did have, like I said, even though we got close to our levels, couple of price action opportunities. Hey, if you're one of George Clooney's best friends, 14 best friends, he's dumping off $1 million in your giving a $1 million check for being a buddy of his. Our friend Brad is best friends with George. I'm sure he's going to be getting a little check in the mail from George. I'm sure he can agree with him on a lot of issues. But he's one of his good buddies. So George Clooney becoming a philanthropist to his friends. It's a good thing. 14 friends, not all of them. So how bored I am talking about George Clooney and Brad. It's bad when I get to that point. And look, we're traders. So you don't have to stand in front of your screen all day and watch nothing happen. So again, we focus more on the morning hours, and sometimes we're going to get really busy, and sometimes we're not. We've had opportunities where we could make 3 or 4 trades in the first half hour, but not today. We've had a couple of trades. Like I said, I've had it's just plain simple. Maybe scaled in at 04 on the downside against our 03, and a little rotation back here to our pivot where you could have sold it. Also bounce off our blue band there. Earlier we had a little bounce off our green band, which you could have taken if you're a little aggressive. And also our settlement price. There was another trade off of that. Again, these situations happen because the markets are slow, and you could kind of find these opportunities to kind of trade even in a tight little range like we've had here. All right. All right. After a while, we have to kind of wait and see if market's going to get in the downside support there. Maybe you make an adjustment, maybe you don't. All depends on how much risk you are willing to take. Just because we got down to 04 and then bounced up there a little bit. We are staying below our blue band here, so maybe you sold our pivot there a little bit, but If you did anything above 12, a tight little stop, don't be out of any shorts. Again, if anybody has any questions, good time to ask when things are slow. Um, Anything about how we do things, what we do, please write them down in the chat box area there, and obviously be able to get to them for you. As we are just really going nowhere fast here. All right. Again, we just kind of very, very quiet and kind of slowly drifting back up here a little bit. 17 next support level, resistance, I should say. Would I say yes or no to the COVID vaccine? Are you kidding right now? Of course I'd take it. I just want to get out of this basement. What kind of question is that? Would you? I mean, it's really the question here. I mean, I don't think it'd be a problem. I mean, at this point right now, considering all the issues that we have going in every state, you know, I mean, I don't. What are you asking me? Is it to prevent it, or if you already have it? How the hell do I know? I don't know. What the hell are you asking me? Take a vaccine. You don't get COVID, whether you have it already or not. I don't know. I guess you prevent it from getting it, right? What the hell are you asking me for? Doctor says take it. You're not. You can go out again, have normal life again. I'm there. I mean, right? You start asking too many technical questions, then you start doubting anything or everything. I don't know. Look, doesn't kill me, and I think Fauci said that you have to 75% of the population has to have it. Take a vaccine. Not everybody has to take it, but if 75% of the population take the vaccine, then it's pretty much done with. I can easily see 25 to 30. I think probably 50% easily taking it. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people. No, let's wait for the second batch. Let's wait for another. Let's see how this works out. Let's not take it right away. But at this point, you know, and like again, I don't think they've come out with anything, you know, terrible at this point. You know, just my. I'm sure if they come out with something at this point in time, it'll be okay. After all the concern that the whole world is focused in on. But what do I know? All right, back here at our pivot, kind of going nowhere fast. Okay, like I said, this is just kind of no trade zone here. I know, thanks. I appreciate that. When I was trading in the pit, did you ever tell anybody to meet you outside by the horse? Was there a horse that I missed? There's two places where I told them to meet me. By my garage or by the bar downstairs. And the bar downstairs was open really early. Those grain guys traded 9:30 and at 9:45 they were sitting at the bar drinking. And they made a good stiff drink down there at Ceres. That was the bar that's down there on at the exchange, that if you wanted to meet somebody, that's where you met them. We used to have breakfast there too. But no, we didn't fight. Nobody fought. You just went outside, and you couldn't fight in the pit. You fought in the pit, that was like an automatic $25,000. If you threw one punch in the pit, you got fined $25,000. Just threw it. You didn't have to connect. Shoving might be okay as long as you don't extend your arms too much. But boy, you threw a punch, you're done. 25 grand. But you can call anybody any name in the book. That was okay. I mean, you could sit there and scream at them and call them names, and that was fine. Boy, you threw that one punch. Doesn't matter. You're done. It cost you a little suspension, and it wasn't good. But yeah. But I mean, you had football players who played for the Bears and stuff who would come and trade. And these guys, talking about solid and big, pushing them around, you couldn't. There were a couple of football players that came into the bond bid that tried to trade, because what else were they going to do, right? I mean, they wanted to find a way to make money without having to get wear a suit and tie every day, because they never did in their whole lives, right? And they played football and then they retired. So it was interesting to watch them when you didn't want to pick a fight with them anyway. That's for sure. And they were big. They were definitely big. All right. Well, unfortunately, we are range bound here. We had a couple really tight price action opportunities. We will be here in the background. We are trading some Ps, or at least if the market gives us the opportunity. Like I keep saying, you have to let the market give you the opportunity. You can't go create the opportunity. That's not how it works in this game. You have to wait for things to play themselves out. We had a couple of price action opportunities this morning. We talked about them. We did go down to 04. We had 03 as our level, and I know a couple of you bought the 04s as a scale, top end of the scale. We had a couple of rotations off of our blue band. We had a couple of rotation off of our settlement price. And so we've had a couple opportunities there in a very, very tight little range here. I don't think we've gotten maybe 10-point range here in the last over hour. But it's been like that, as you can see here, for a while. And the really very, very quiet trade where, we're still in almost right in the middle of Monday's range. And Monday was that day we kind of gapped up, and then we did close the gap yesterday afternoon. That we did do. Yesterday morning, actually, which we actually had some trades yesterday morning. Could you have brought guests into the pit when it was open? Yes. Yes. We had to take. I had some visitors. There were a lot on the floor, and you can take them around. Back when. And just recently, the floor was still open because they still had options. Traders in the pit there trading, but obviously since COVID came about, not that it's not doable. But yes, the guests were allowed on the floor, and it was fascinating to take some people on the floor, show them around. I know a couple of our traders in our room right now. have come and visited me. Absolutely. If they open up the floor again, and it could be it could work out. Yeah, that definitely works too, Mark. But the stops have to be a little bit bigger than they are in the 5 minute, depending on volatility. But yes, that works too. All right. Again, a little resistance at 17, and we are holding our blue band here. We had one little spike to the downside, came back up. Looks like we're a little bit bullish here. Looking for the levels above here. If we get above 15, 16, well, we got 17 up here, but trying to stay a little bit bullish as long as we stay above the 08. Let's see if we can't slowly, but again, it gets a little bit choppy, so be careful and use your stop. And downside, if we get below 03, again, the problem with the 03 is we went down to 4 already, so the 3 is a little bit more tenuous right now. I would probably look at the 96 as the next better level on the downside as support. Otherwise, just be a little bit careful, be patient, and wait and see what happens.
Hey, quick shout out to Natalie D. Hey, Natalie, I sent you out that sign up for Sol's Discounted Monthly. Let us know what you're thinking about that. Henry A. Hey, Henry, let us know if you have any questions about what we do here and what the opportunities are. T the same. TB. Just use the chat feature to respond. Hey, T, no problem. Appreciate it. Just a couple thoughts. I mean, does your platform allow you to do the S&P 500 E-mini? In other words, bring up a chart, do water execution. Should start out in simulation only or have the ability to do that. And again, if you want to join the family, we can certainly talk about Sal's course and mentoring work. Just let me know how you want to proceed. Henry, let me know if you got my last message. Henry. And and Nathalie, let me know if you're in earshot. Use the chat feature to respond. Let me know when it's, if you're going to do it, then I'll authorize you in the background. Hey, a couple quick shout outs. For those that are coming in on the outside, click on the link and join us on a daily basis in Zoom. Hey, Nathalie, you're back. Let me know in chat. Henry, let me know if you're back. T, let us know if you have any questions. And again, if you're coming in through the outside, click on the link, join us in Zoom directly. You get an email to come in on a daily basis as a guest, and then we take it from there. The morning session is where the activity is. Saul could be teaching somebody in the background, having a private class. He could be working with an individual trader, based on those that are part of his course and his mentoring work. He could be out playing golf. I know in New York it might be a little chilly to play golf, but Chicago, hey, Chicago has a rep of being really cold, but sometimes based on all this craziness going on with the weather, that, he could be out playing golf. But anyway, that's the freedom of trading, and let us know how we can help you.